Oh man, I was so upset last night, and it's a good thing I didn't post that video because I made another video, and you guys are never gonna see it. Only my closest friends know how pissed I was last night with that Canelo and Cotto fight. Give it up for Canelo. There's a lot of Canelo fans out there. He did deliver some hard shots. There was a couple rounds where you knew it was Canelo's rounds. However, this fight didn't meet expectations. This fight didn't meet up the hype. I felt like both of them, a lot of people said that when Cotto definitely landed his combos and his body shots and his hard punches, that Canelo shrugged it off. But then you could say the same with Cotto. Just because Canelo was the bigger man and when he was landing those shots, I never felt Cotto was in danger at all. Most of the time, Cotto dodged a lot of those shots. I felt like at the end of this fight, both of them were just still good. They're still good to go 5 more rounds, honestly. I think it was a close fight. I honestly believed it was a close fight. And if they would have gave it to Canelo in a close decision, then yeah, it makes sense. But they didn't. They gave Canelo a lot of rounds. A lot of people were saying Canelo was dominating this fight. I didn't see that way. I saw Cotto really using his boxing skills, using that jab, and that jab was working all night, staying busy, hitting the body, going up top, and just because Canelo was blocking it, you got to remember Cotto was blocking Canelo's shots as well, using that one fist. So, I mean, what is the point system at this point? I mean, and what is the appeal to boxing now? Because you never could really. It's definitely, we all know boxing is not a dying sport because it could always rise up from the ashes. But it feels like you don't leave it to the judges. Just go out there and fight and really fight and make it obvious that you won. And I felt like Canelo didn't make it obvious that he won. A lot of people believe that. I don't believe that. I believed he did a lot of good hard shots, but when it came to the boxing game, he was getting beat. I believed Cotto was definitely more elusive. I believe he dodged more. I believe he connected more on those jabs. I believe he did a lot of body shots. I believe he did a lot more work in that ring, and I think he won a lot of those rounds, honestly, and I felt like Cotto won the fight, a very close fight. Now, Canelo, once again, is disappointing me. I feel like he's a great fighter. You give it up to him. He's here for a reason. He has all these wins for a reason. He has all these knockouts for a reason. But I still feel like he isn't the best. I mean, when you think Canelo, sure, he's a fan favorite, but he's not the greatest, and he's still young, so it's very yet to determine if he is one of the best. And honestly, he would have been considered one of the greatest if he would have beat Mayweather. But of course, Mayweather loves to run and hug, which was great about this fight. They only hugged like three to four times in the whole fight. So, I mean, I'm level-headed. At first, I really was upset because I really thought Cotto had this fight, and I still think Cotto really had this fight very slightly. I think Cotto just did a little bit more to win the fight, and I felt like just because his punches didn't hold too much power, and Canelo was able to absorb them, I still feel like that Cotto really just established that jab all night, really did beautiful combinations, went from the body, did a lot of great body shots, and really just was more of a better boxer in that fight. But Canelo, like I said, it could have went either way, so I could see Canelo winning as well, but not in a majority decision. That wasn't a majority fight. If you take the judges out and you just watch that fight and it just ends, you go, that was a busy fight. Wasn't the greatest fight, but I guess I can give it to Canelo. He did a little bit more, this and this. Or you can say, I guess I give it to Cotto because he did a little bit more here and this. So, I mean, I'm getting a lot of shit for this, and that's okay. I mean, I'm gonna always give you my honest opinion, and I'm always gonna tell you what I believe I saw. And I saw Cotto really just a little bit outworking Canelo in a couple of those rounds, but Canelo did come back in those later rounds. So it is what it is. Honestly, what the biggest disappointment is not the result, but the fight itself and how it didn't really live up to the hype. And I really wanted a really classic, brilliant fight that we didn't get from the Pacquiao and Mayweather fight, and we didn't get that as well. So as long as the next topic that we're going to talk about, because I didn't get to talk about this and we're going to talk about it right now, but just my final thoughts on the Miguel Cotto and Canelo fight. Congratulations, Canelo fans. I mean, yes, he won, and I still am not very impressed by this fighter. I think he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's overall the best in here. I think a lot of people could go after this kid. But it doesn't. A lot of people says, "Oh, Mexico, because he's from Mexico and this and that." Or when I said Miguel Cotto, because he's from Puerto Rico, this and this and that. It shouldn't matter about that. It should really just matter about the fighters themselves and their personalities, and if you really are drawn by that. Yes, it does add a little oomph if you're rooting for that kind of where he comes from. But honestly, the reason I liked Miguel Cotto was because I've seen him fight for years, and he really is a great fighter. And the reason I like Canelo is he does have that. He packs a wall up. He does do these great punches, and he seems like the up and comer. But the reason I dislike him is he just doesn't do enough for me to convince me that he is one of the top pound per pound best fighters. I think Pacquiao in his prime could take out this kid no problem, but it is what it is. So my final thoughts is busy fight but disappointing fight, and boxing to me is kind of losing my interest. And we all know when it comes to the judges, when it comes to boxing, you never want to leave it to the judges' hands. So Miguel Cotto, his mistake was leaving it in the judges' hands, and his mistake as well, even though he was smart enough to just box with Canelo instead of brawl with him, his mistake was always going inside, so he let Canelo hit him. So that's my problem with that. Now we're moving on to Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. Now, oh my God. So you saw my reaction video. A lot of views are happening, and I thought, I need to address this fight. So I was totally wrong. I've been wrong a lot this year, which is not like me. So I'm definitely going to step up my game when it comes next year, when it comes to fights, and just really breaking them down and analyzing them, and really just not going with the gut and just going with the smarts. And I should have knew, if I really broke it down, if I really just watched Holly Holm in her past fights, I should have knew that Holly Holm was going to win. But I did say that in order for Holly Holm to win, she would have to keep her distance. She would have to use her strike. She would have to not allow Ronda Rousey to get her down, and also establish those head kicks. And that's what happened. But she just impressed me even more, because at one point Ronda Rousey did try to get her down, and thankfully Holly Holm landed on top of Ronda Rousey instead of the other way around. Even Holly Holm actually scored with the takedown. So very impressed with Holly Holm. She is a beast. I mean, her striking was on point. You could see her just utilizing the cage, utilizing her surroundings, going in and out, establishing that left straight, and then also establishing her striking, and then of course the head kick that just was heard around the world. The problem with Ronda Rousey is she was stupid to actually think that she could strike with Holly Holm. She is not that good up in this point. That's why a lot of people are saying there's still weaknesses in Ronda Rousey's game, and it showed. It definitely showed. Ronda Rousey was dumb enough to actually try to strike with her. I think Ronda should have utilized, at least tried for the double leg takedowns, even a single leg takedown, to really just try to get to Holly Holm, because she did try to do a judo throw, and it felt. And when I was watching the fight, I was like, "Holy shit!" Holly Holm's a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger than Ronda Rousey, so that was surprising as well. I didn't really think about that, but I was totally shocked. I love how Holly Holm defeated Ronda Rousey. I don't hate Ronda Rousey, but I felt like she needed this loss to really realize that, listen, you're not immortal. You can't take these fighters for granted. They're fighters. They're world-class fighters for a reason. So I think Ronda Rousey, she went down a little bit. I think she definitely leveled-headed, and she really just said, you know what, damn, I messed up. I screwed up. I want to get better and stronger and continue to fight Holly Holm. But you could kind of tell Ronda was a little bit rattled, especially with the weigh-ins and how she went straight to Holly Holm's face. But great fight. I mean, great card overall. I thought even Joanna's fight was great. They were both working it all 5 rounds. Joanna ended up winning that fight. I thought overall that whole UFC card was fantastic, and I can't wait for Aldo versus McGregor. And I have my boy Aldo. I think Aldo's going to kick ass. You know what? I like McGregor. He's a funny guy. He's a good fighter too, but that's my boy Aldo. And Aldo's going to kick his ass, honestly. And he's going to shut him up a little bit. But with Ronda Rousey, she's out for a while. You know, she got her ass kicked. She really did get her ass kicked. But you know, you don't want any like too much harm to go towards Ronda. You don't want her to really be super hurt where she's not able to fight again. So uh, it is what it is. I was happy that Ronda lost, you know, but I don't hate her. I don't. On the whole, my overall thoughts is I don't hate her. And Holly Holm is the new champ. How deserving, how grateful she is. I mean, it could all change. Fame could get to her head, and she could be a totally different person privately. But overall, I like Holly Holm. I really feel like Holly Holm is. I mean, she's the underdog story. She's the fighter that nobody thought had a chance, and she killed it. She rocked it, and now she's the fighter that everybody should be worried about. Did you see Dana White? Dana White was like, "Oh, my baby, she's gone. She got hurt." I mean, it was Dana White was so sad that day. So thank you guys for listening. I'll try to make definitely more better predictions when it comes to the fights, and I think I will just analyze and really look at film and break it down a little bit more because my predictions have been off and I've been losing some bets. I've been going from my gut, so I lost the Cotto bet. Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit pissed. It was like, oh damn it, you should have won, but Cotto didn't do enough to win that fight, honestly, too. So yeah, I'm a realistic man. I'm the one. I definitely know when I was wrong, and I've been wrong. I've been wrong with the Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey fight. I've been wrong with the Cotto and Canelo fight. I know when I'm wrong, and I respect a lot of the opinions. I definitely respect my one buddy Montel's opinion. He knows what he's talking about. So, thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Would really appreciate it. Like the video if you like it, and comment below. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, and it would really just really help me out. And go check out my podcast. I have great podcasts talking Walking Dead and Dragon Ball Z. If you like that sort of thing. So, I'm Dan Son, and I am out. Bye, guys.